How's it going, guys? It's Mosen here. Been part of the Mac admin community for a long time. I don't so much do a lot of Mac stuff anymore, but I still work on MunkiReport because it's still a lot of fun. Aryan, you want to do an intro?
Sure. Can everybody hear me? Because I can't hear myself. Yeah, well, I think it was we just looked it up in the beginning of 2017. I think Mosen somehow dropped in on the MunkiReport channel and started talking about, I'm not even sure how we got to the subject, but we ended up talking about rewriting MunkiReport and something else. And I still have I just sent him the quote that he's sent me. I said something like, what about changing frameworks? Do you think it would be feasible? And he said, sure, no problem, I can do it. So I think that's how it got started in 2017. And I think we bounced off numerous ideas on how to do it and what kind of things we could do. And I think you started writing right away and really crazy stuff that never got published. Maybe it's for the good, but there were some really good ideas in there. And then,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. We moved on to other things and things got silent. But I think the idea just kept on going, and I think last year or maybe 2 years ago we started working on it again.
Yeah. I think probably around the start of 2020. Yep.
And I think then we decided to do it in parts. So I think first we tackled the whole database abstraction layer, and we swapped that out for the Eloquent one, which was part of Laravel, and that was the framework we wanted to migrate to eventually. And I know you did tons of work to make that happen, and it was really cool. And then it got silent again, and we got a little bit distracted. And then I'm not even sure when it happened, but then I think you started working on really a serious migration to a new framework.
Yeah.
And yeah, you go. Take it from here.
I was going to lead off. No, I'm going to lead off by saying that with MunkiReport 6, because it's such a foundation rewrite, the UI is almost identical to the one that was present before. So I can show you this as a screen share, but because it is so similar, I think it's better if we talk about the reasons why it was done and exactly what the roadmap is going to be. So the reason why we took on this rewrite was I saw that the original project had been using a framework called KISS MVC, and Aryan started using it. It was created in 2008, I think, and the current framework I'm rewriting it for is this year or last year. So quite a lot can happen in 12 years of web development. The main value there was basically that these guys had been writing pieces of MunkiReport like authentication and database handling and all that stuff that they didn't really need to write. Like, it was something that we could get batteries included. So this is why we decided to take it on and replace the foundation. Anything to add to that, Aryan?
No, that was one of the reasons to do it. The framework I based MunkiReport upon was really old, and It was actually just a really, really basic framework that didn't come with anything. So no batteries included whatsoever. I don't think there wasn't even a manual included. So I had to figure out everything ourselves. And I think the things I added, like you said, authentication. That was, of course, a good effort, but it's nowhere near as complete as the authentication things authentication methods that come with Laravel. So, long story short, what we have now, and it's not finished yet, but what we're moving towards is a foundation that can easily be extended with other stuff. Without lots of work on developer side.
Yeah. So what I might do is I might give you an idea of what the V6 UI looks like, because it seems like we're missing the video component. But because it is so similar, I think it's more it's kind of more important to show what's been done under the hood, because that's really where most of the changes are. Just give me a sec. So I'm just going to show you the UI. The only thing that's actually updated on the UI is the fact that we've upgraded from Bootstrap 3 to 4, which is basically a really small theme change. So, one sec. So this is 5.6. This is 5.6.5 running on my local machine. And this is V6. So as you can see, there's not a hell of a lot of difference here. And yeah, there's a few small bugs because this is still a beta. The main thing is that there's a lot that's changed under the hood as far as the entire framework's been swapped out. And what that allows us to do is add more features that have been requested for a super long time. A lot of people had been requesting, seeing messages in the chat. A lot of people had been requesting things like global search, like notifications, reports, things like that. And by changing the framework, that allowed us to add those features, or at least start working on those features. What you see here is basically an identical re-implementation of 5.6, except with the Laravel framework underneath. So what we're going to do is release this one for testing, basically, iron out all the bugs, and we should be bringing a whole ton of new features in the 6 releases, starting with things like global search, being able to search across all the text of all of the items in the inventory, notification support. There are even other things that we could add that may bring value, but we're not exactly sure yet whether they will be valuable. Things like there's sort of asynchronous jobs, which might be helpful to scrape APIs out of different MDMs and things like that. You can bring your inventory from multiple MDMs back into one sort of data source. That would be interesting to do. Really, Laravel gives us a whole bunch of tools to make these kind of features. So I'm really looking forward to ironing all the bugs out of this V6 6.0 beta and getting onto some of those features.
Yeah, and I have to admit, oh, sorry, you go on.
No. I was going to say, do you want to talk about how we got to this point?
Oh no, that was more that I had some tough time looking at your screen.
Okay.
I'm not an avid Discord user, so I was struggling, but I just saw it, so it's fine.
Okay.
I think you got a better demo than I got up. I have to admit that I haven't been working on the project for a while. I was really busy doing other stuff, so one of the reasons I thought it was such a good idea to go to the MacDevOps conference together with you is to get enthusiastic about it again. And of course, I think it's a great project, and yeah, it's been worked on for a really long time by numerous people. And I think it's worth to give it a second life with a new framework. And yeah, what you said, the connections that you can make, that we can set up with the new framework are really nice. Things like notifications in all kinds of different programs is something I would really welcome. I think it would increase my productivity in my current work if I can get notifications in Slack about certain events in MunkiReport. So, but you
Yeah.
want to talk about how we got here?
Oh,
I don't
um,
even know how we got here.
you don't even know how it got. Um, no, I was just it was just funny how you were talking about the fact that yeah um you kind of dragged me into it just by saying, do you think that's possible? And it's like a challenge. Got to do
I know you're easily nerd sniped.
it.
That's a fact. I think that's the reason why you're participating in so many projects, and I'm really happy that you found time to work on this one because yeah, without your input, I don't think I would ever we been able to pull it off the things you did.
Yeah, no problem. Is there anything that you started the project with that you wanted to see it have eventually, like any long-term goals?
I know at a certain point I thought it grow even bigger. We might drop the whole monkey and just call it MacReport, and then maybe add other operating systems and just call it report. But computer report or something, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I think that's still on the cards as far as splitting away from Monkey. I think that's been discussed a lot. Removing the dependency on Monkey because as well as the fact that Tuxedo, John's done some work on he's done some work on Jamf, and John Crane's done some work on Jamf, and so there's definitely a lot of interest for creating modules that are for importing Jamf inventory data.
John, are you here? I feel like summoning a ghost.
I saw Tuxedo here as well, but I'm here. I think Tuxedo is not listening because he has a work meeting as well. It sounded like.
Oh yeah, right.
Hey Mosen, I saw you had done some work with OS Query. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that and what you've done and tested out in implementing in MunkiReport?
Yeah, sure. Um, so one of the cool things about changing to a framework like this is the fact that they already have a system for doing plugins, which means that we had a whole lot of custom logic for doing MunkiReport modules, which doesn't really have to be written anymore, or at least only about 10 or 20% has to be written. And I wanted to demonstrate the new module system by creating a new module. So I thought, hey, there's a bit of buzz about OS query in the community. Let's give that a shot. I think that would be a good demo because it extends a lot of things. It extends the collection mechanism and it extends the UI and the admin stuff. So I've made kind of let's call it alpha level module for OS query. What it does is it acts as the kind of TLS server component of OS query, and it sends queries or query packs to OS query clients, and the query results that are reported can be natively reported back to MunkiReport. This is something that was kind of possible in the old MunkiReport, but you didn't have such full control over what plugins could do. Like in the previous one, a plugin might add a listing of inventory, or it might add a new admin screen or something like that. But now the module system or the plugin system can replace whole sections of the application. So that allowed us to make an OS query server which natively supports all of the features required. Oh, sorry, John. I will say that it is very alpha because the queries that are sent to the clients right now are statically configured, as in you have to configure them on the server. But it would be cool to see something where you could administer that from the UI as well. Did you have
more?
any?
Oh.
I was going to ask John if he had any further questions about it.
I do not. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say if anyone else had any questions about the rewrite.
So many
I guess
questions. So many.
nothing from Matt.
Where do I buy it? How do I
Where do
get
you
it? How do I use this? How can I help?
Sure. So what's really fun about rewriting a whole bunch of stuff is doing all the documentation again. That's my favorite part. So we have to redo a whole bunch of documentation, and there is actually links, I believe, on the wiki that Arjen's put up for the V6 beta, which will on the MunkiReport PHP Git repo, which will get you started with installing the V6 beta. We're going to build and push a Docker container as well if you'd like to get started that way. How can you help?
What about Python too? Sorry, so many questions. They're all
No.
now.
I was just going to say, I think the greatest thing about this project is the fact that Arjen will take pull requests from pretty much anybody and not complain about it. So,
It depends on my workload. If I'm busy, I'll accept anything.
Challenge accepted. Yes, send your pull request to Aryan. He's too polite to say no. He'll just fork it and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Someone's asking if they're going to see a demo, but there's not much to see in the demo. I think Mosen already showed what it looks like, and I mean, there's not much else to it. It's just the same interface that was there before, with a slight change of theme because of the Bootstrap 4 instead of Bootstrap 3. I think there's some change in the spacing of things, but there's not really much changed, which is actually a nice feature. I think that we were able to merge all these modules into something, or change the whole core project so that it will still work with all the original modules without much change. So it's right. I think it's really amazing that we could swap out the whole, like the guts from the thing without breaking all kinds of other things.
Yeah, we basically had to write a compatibility layer for all the existing modules, so you could install the older modules on the new system as well. Thanks, John. John's got a demo site up and running, so that's really good. Yeah, so we will be releasing also an example of the new module structure if you're interested in writing a module as well.
Thank you, Mosen. So is this another year of pandemic and we'll get this thing done, or?
I think most of the foundation work has been done, and now we just have to figure out what order we're going to add these features in and which ones have the most value. And I think what really helps is if people submit to GitHub issues the requests that they have and kind of comment on, what's valuable for them. Because I know what's valuable to me, but that doesn't always mean there's going to be a whole lot of people that will use that feature. So that's the best feedback we can get.
Awesome. Now that we've got Aryan and everyone cornered, though, what are we going to do about Python? Python 2 to 3, and then what are we going to call it? Where are we going to install it? What are we going to do? Let's do it soon.
I know Mosen already gave a stab at it by writing a Swift module, which circumvents the whole Python thing. And I think it was, what was it, like 100 or 1,000 times faster than the Python implementation?
Yeah, I did. I rewrote the inventory collection process into Swift, but to be honest, changing one thing at a time sometimes works a bit better because the more pieces we change and release at the same time, the more bugs, more bug reports. So it was important to get just the server end sorted out first.
100% agree. Yeah, maybe Swift, somebody can help us in the near future, but I think the Python compatibility just to get the client installer working probably in the next OS.
I mean, some open source projects move to Swift. Nudge is an example. I think mostly because Eric didn't want to be bothered about the whole Python thing anymore.
So we should talk to Eric, right?
No, I think Mosen's right. There's still.
I keep consumed.
I think we should focus on the server first and then see what to do with the client. I think there are many ways to skin that cat, so I think we'll figure out something that will work for most people.
Yeah, definitely. Either we'll find a Python distribution that suits MunkiReport, or look at the other options. Yep.
Any other questions?
Bueller, anyone? Arjen is the most awake, so you should talk.
The most awake. Okay. So one concern I had, and maybe still have, is like this new framework is very elaborate, but it also means that it's slower. So I had some concerns about the application getting too slow. And I don't think we have optimized many things, or we haven't optimized anything, I think, in that regard. So that might be something we should look into.
Yeah, there's no doubt that what the project had before was the absolute minimum framework. It was basically the simplest thing you could possibly ever use as a web framework. So going from that to something this huge, there's going to be a penalty somewhere. But looking at the differences in performance, I think a lot of it can be worked out. We can still cut quite a lot of request time off what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, there are many things to say about this new version. There's also, I think we should be able to support other databases as well, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the great things about switching to a common framework. We can support a whole lot of databases, and the way that the queries and migrations are going through the framework, it means that you could theoretically use a whole lot of different databases. Although I don't know if I want to support every single database on the face of the planet, but we could possibly expand from the original. Was it? I think there was 2 on the original list.
Yeah, SQLite and MySQL.
Yeah, so you could easily get Postgres in there.
Yeah, that was my goal.
Anyone?
The same thing. Sorry.
Sorry, Mosin, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing applies for authentication. Now that the framework provides the authentication, we can tie it into, every identity service, whatever your preferred IDP or ID provider is. We can tie it in, and we've done some demos with Azure AD and what else do we do? I think sign in with GitHub or something. But yeah, you can bring whichever identity provider you want.
Anybody want to ask a question here? You can unmute yourself. Just speak slowly and carefully. Gonna have to call people out. Tim, you're awake. I'm gonna pick on time zones. Come on, Night Train.
You're all way too smart for me. Thanks.
How do you have to upgrade your modules if you've written them for 5 to work in 6, or will they just be translated?
No, you don't. The V5 modules work exactly the same. If I didn't make them work backwards compatible, then Tuxedo would kill me. So,
Very good.
so they do.
That's definitely the best news ever because you know, I love Aryan forever for making the please make module. So yeah, anything that breaks module making, even simple ones.
I had a question. Um, you had mentioned like potentially moving one of the components to Swift. I don't really know what the contributors look like to the tool, but do you feel like you'll get less contributors if it moves away from Python?
Yeah, definitely. One of the really hard things is trying to balance new cool fun languages and people who are already committing to a project. You can't just push brand new stuff in crazy languages and expect everyone to pick it up and go, yeah, cool, we're going to work on this. So that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of holding back on the Swift thing. Or we might bring it in as an add-on, so it might be an optional extra.
Thanks.
So do we have a roadmap? Did I miss that? Or do we have next steps? Or sorry if I missed it.
No, you're right, Matt. It's not hazy, but the order is something that we still have to get down. The requests that we have at the moment are for global search, and I think those scheduled reports and notifications are the other one. So those are probably the first two features to come in 6.x, and then we'll be looking at feature requests to bring more features in.
We love you, Mosen.
I'm sorry, guys, about the video. Yeah, it's really hard to show an engine change, but take my word for it. There's going to be some really cool stuff coming along.
Will there be changes to the API to connect to MunkiReport?
That's a really good question. One of the included bits in Laravel is actually the API token management. And second of all, there's a whole lot of stuff around doing boilerplate API. So yeah, things are a little bit hazy with MunkiReport 5 at the moment with APIs. I think Ian's written a wiki article about getting stuff out of data tables into other systems with the API, but I don't think it was ever 100%. I wouldn't call it an API solution. I think it was just the fact that that's what the front end used, and that's the API you get. Whereas now we can actually. Is that too harsh?
No, you're absolutely right. But API is just it's a programming interface, and so it could be anything. And I know in the recent times, APIs have developed, and there are standards for APIs that how they should get and retrieve data. So yeah, in that sense, it's no API at all. but it's I thought it was cool that it could do what it can do, and that I could piggyback on the data tables interface that I wrote for showing all the tables, the table formatted data.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know you wouldn't call it an API because it lacks any standard.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Okay. I'll take that back a little bit. That's too harsh. But the requirements are basically the same, right? The system itself needs to display a table of pretty much anything joined to anything. So that wasn't really a solved problem when the original Monkey report came out, and Ian had to work around that and actually make an API that did that. But now we've got stuff like GraphQL and I suppose OData also does that. But which solves the exact same problem. How do I use a REST API to just query any combination of fields I want? And all that stuff is out of the box in the new framework. So we're going to be able to provide that any kind of query that you want to do on the data that's stored in MunkiReport, you'll be able to get it out without touching the SQL DB.
That is exciting.
Yeah, I'm actually talking about that data table thing. I'm actually hoping that in a future version we'll be able to fill the feature request. Someone's got one out there for just custom tables. Pick and mix your own columns and it displays your inventory. I'm hoping that will solve that one.
Any more questions? Poor Mosen has to go to bed at some point.
I think. With a search, maybe I missed it. Is the search you able to specify like a search field for a specific field, or are you just searching across all fields at once?
So that depends on the search backend a little bit. I can find out with the default one. The way Laravel does search is it's got a package called Scout, which allows you to configure, a whole long list of search engines, or sorry, search indexes, I should say. And it depends which one you use on what features you get. But I'll grab that info.
Also, you're up at nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, like myself.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mosen. Get some sleep.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for inviting us.
I'll have to fly you out next time so we can see you. Your hidden identity, your secret identity is safe for now.
Not that secret.
We have great witness protection here in Vancouver. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for surviving the slightly rocky start to Discord. I didn't know there was this many people excited in Monkey Report. I'm shocked. No offense, Aaron.
None taken. Thank you for having us at this wee hour in the morning. I'm happy to get some excitement around a new release. I hope we can do another beta in the coming weeks, and I hope people will submit bug reports and findings, feature requests, so we can work on it.
Thank you, Aryan. Much love to you and everybody who works on Monkey Report. You're all super lovely people.